Today we are going to start a new chapter, that is reproductive health. Now coming to reproductive health. So if you asked what is reproductive health, you might simply say that healthy reproductive organs and normal functioning of the reproductive organs. But now it also includes the emotional and social aspects of reproduction. So according to World Health Organization (WHO), reproductive health can be defined as total well-being in all aspects of reproduction, that is physical, emotional, behavioral and social. So if you say what is a reproductively healthy society, it will be a society where people have obviously physically and normally and functionally normal reproductive organs, where the reproductive organs are functioning normally. But also along with it will be other aspects, that is emotional, behavioral, interaction amongst each other in all sex related aspects. So that is how reproductive health is defined, and this comes as a 2 marks question in your exam. Now India was the first country to initiate plans or programs at a national level to attain total reproductive health. They did these programs initially were called as family planning programs and were initiated in 1957. So they started with the slogan of Hum Do Hamare Do, and for this they used to advertise audio. They used to use the transistors, radios. At that time TV was not there much, or make the symbols of this like in a form of a triangle with this slogan written below it, motivating families to have couples to have smaller families. Now this family planning program has been now called as, now it has been, other aspects have also been taken into consideration, and now it is called as reproductive and child health, or short form as RCH programs. Now what is the major task of these programs? Creating awareness among people about the various reproduction related aspects. Second, providing facilities and support for building up a reproductively healthy society. So it should be healthy here, healthy society. Now coming to first RCH program, first initiative is introduction of sex education in schools. It should be encouraged. Why? So that we give the right information to the school going children, so as to discourage them for believing in any myths and misconception they have about sex related issues. They should also be educated about the reproductive organs, their functioning and all the changes that takes place at the time of puberty, and they should be made aware of these changes. They should be also advised of safe and hygienic sexual practices, and they should be made aware of the sexually transmitted diseases and how they can be prevented. And they should also be made aware of the social evils like sex abuse and sex related crimes, so that they can take necessary steps to protect themselves. So this is also one aspect of RCH program. Another is educating people, especially fertile couples and those in the marriageable age groups, about the following. First, about the various birth control measures, so that they can have smaller families. Now how to take care of the pregnant mothers, to give them proper advice about it. After the birth of the child, that is a postnatal care, that is after the birth of the child, care of the mother and child, and importance of breastfeeding, and advising them to give equal opportunities for male and the female child, because there is a tendency to look after the male child and ignore the female child. So this also comes under the RCH program. So it has a wider vision and it is including all these aspects also. Now coming to the next, that is population explosion. You are aware of it. What is population explosion? A rapid increase in population in a very short time. That is called as population explosion. Obviously, if you ask what is the reason, it is obvious, because over the years there has been increase in the health facilities and improvement in technology. As a result, the death rate has reduced. So longevity has increased, and that has led to population explosion. So the world population was about 2 billion in 1900 AD and was 6 billion in 2000 AD. And India also at the time of independence was just 350 million. Now it has reached to 1 billion in 2000 AD. What are the reasons for this population explosion are: number one, a rapid decline in the death rate, obviously due to the increased health facilities. And what is the other term for death rate? That is mortality. And a reduction in maternal mortality rate, because initially all the deliveries, that means in your grandmother's time, all the deliveries used to take place at home, and there were midwives assisting those deliveries. So as a result of that, there was the death of the mother during the childbirth while delivering the baby, and that also resulted, deliveries at home resulted in the death of the infants. But now all these take place in the hospitals under the supervision of the doctors. So there has been a reduction in maternal mortality rate, that is short form you say as MMR, and decline in the infant mortality rate, short form you say as IMR. And also because of the increased health facilities, there has been an increase in the number of people in the reproducible age. Now what steps can be taken to control the population growth? Obviously the most important step is to motivate couples to go for smaller families. And how they can do it? By using various contraceptive methods. And raising of the marriage age, for females 18, for males 21, because initially there was child marriage where the girls were married off at the age of 12 and 13 years. Now to motivate couples to have smaller families, incentives can be given, and this has been done, like they have been advising the couple to go for sterilization procedures, and monetary benefits are given to them. Same thing in China also, incentives were given to have smaller families by giving them perks, by in their jobs, in their careers, offering them incentives there. So they went for only having one child. So now how to go for the birth control? So birth control is what? Preventive, using preventive methods or devices, so that the number of offsprings will be less, to limit the number of offsprings. And for this, what birth control measures, what we are going to use are contraceptives. So what will be an ideal contraceptives? That it should be user friendly, easily available, it should be effective, and it should be reversible with no side effects. So next topic is that only, that is methods of birth control. So the various contraceptive methods, we can group them into the following categories: natural methods, barrier methods, chemical methods, intrauterine devices, IUD short form, oral contraceptives, injectables and implants, and lastly surgical methods. Coming to natural methods. Natural, as the word says, that means the sperm and the eggs will be prevented from meeting each other naturally. So obviously if they don't meet each other, there will be no fertilization. What are the various methods under natural methods? Will be number one, periodic abstinence. You know, during menstrual cycle, around the 14th day, around the middle of the cycle, the egg is released. So that part is called as the fertile period of the female. So if the couples avoid or abstain from coitus from day 10 to 17, that means a few days before the ovulatory period and few days after the ovulatory period. So from 10 to 17th, if the couples avoid or abstain from coitus, then when ovulation is expected, and obviously chances of fertilization, there will be no fertilization. Next natural method is coitus interruptus or withdrawal. In this method, the penis is withdrawn from the vagina before ejaculation and insemination is avoided. Third method is lactational amenorrhea. Amenorrhea means absence of menstruation, and after the birth of the child, due to intense lactation, there is no menstruation because of the high levels of prolactin that inhibits the release of GnRH, and that will inhibit the release of the pituitary gonadotropins, that is FSH and LH. So obviously if these hormones are not there, there is no ovulation, so chances of conceiving or chances of conception are almost nil. But this is variable, it depends upon lactation of the breastfeeding of the child, and it can be effective for a maximum period of 6 months after parturition. Next birth control measure is barrier methods. So as the word shows, the sperms and the egg will be prevented from meeting from each other with the help of certain barriers, and such barriers are available for both males and females. First barrier, most common, that is the condoms. So condoms are barriers which are made up of thin rubber or latex sheet, and they to cover the penis in males or the vagina in females, and they are just used before coitus. So when ejaculation occurs, the semen does not enter the female reproductive tract. But most important, condoms provide protection against sexually transmitted diseases. So this is only method to protect protection against sexually transmitted disease. Besides this, there are diaphragms, cervical caps and vaults which are used by females to cover the cervix during coitus, and these are reusable. Next, coming to the next method, that is the chemical methods. So in chemical methods, what are used? Certain chemicals which we say as spermicides, because they kill sperms. How they come in form? You can have it in the form of creams, jellies or foams, and generally they are used with the barrier methods which we discussed just now to increase their contraceptive efficiency. So these are inserted into the vagina before coitus, and what they do, they kill the spermatozoa. And what these spermicides contain, you can have such as lactic acid, boric acid, zinc sulfate, potassium permanganate, and they can be used anyone, but that person should not be allergic to them. Next birth control measure is intrauterine devices, which short form you write as IUDs. Now intrauterine meaning devices that will be inserted into the uterus. So these are inserted into the uterus by the doctors, and IUDs are of the following types. First will be copper releasing IUDs. Example you have will be copper T, you might have seen on the TV also, copper 7, multi-load 375. Another is hormones releasing IUDs. They then contain the hormones like progesterone. For example, you have Progestasert LNG 20. Third, which is not much used, that is non-medicated IUDs, for example Lips Loop. Now how these IUDs work? How do they prevent contraception? They prevent contraception in the following ways. Number one, by increasing phagocytosis of the sperms within the uterus. Next, making the uterus unsuitable for implantation because they contain the hormones progesterone. Making the cervix hostile to the sperms, and suppressing sperm motility and their fertilizing ability. By what? By the copper releasing IUDs. So the copper ions released by these IUDs will suppress sperm motility and their fertilizing ability by promoting the secretion of cytokines. Now these IUDs are ideal for females. Why? If they want to maintain space between two children or they want to delay their pregnancy. Next contraceptive measures one can take is use of oral contraceptives. So these oral contraceptives are generally used by females. And what are these oral contraceptives? These are just hormones in the form of pills. What do they contain? They contain synthetic progesterone, that we say as progestogens only, or a combination of progestogens and estrogen. And these, because these are hormones, what they are going to do? They are going to inhibit ovulation and implantation. And if you recall, we said high levels of progesterone, what they do, they thicken the cervical mucus. So they are going to thicken the cervical mucus, and what is that going to do? Prevent or retard the entry of the sperm. Now these oral contraceptives pills has to be taken daily for a period of 21 days starting from the 5 days of the menstrual cycle. For example, you have Mala D. But CDIR Lucknow has developed another oral contraceptive that is called as Saheli, and this is a non-steroidal oral contraceptive, because what are these? These are containing steroids, synthetic progesterone, or a combination of progesterone or estrogen combination. So these are what? Steroids. But this Saheli is a non-steroid oral contraceptives, and it is just a once a week pill. So you don't have to take this on a daily basis. So that is the advantage of this. Now coming to the next, that is injectables and implants. Injectables and implants, there are also, just like pills, oral pills, there are also oral contraceptives, they are also a combination of hormones. That means they also contain progestogens or progestogen estrogen combination, but they will be used in the form of an injection or implants. So injectables are progesterone derivative injections which are given once every month, that releases the hormone slowly and as a result prevent ovulation and hence fertilization. Implants. So what implants? That means something that is implanted. So what they contain? 6 matchstick, just like a matchstick sized capsules, and what these capsules contain will be the synthetic progesterone, and these are introduced, implanted subdermally, that is under the skin of the inner arm just above the elbow, and these capsules slowly release the synthetic progesterone, and these are effective for 5 years. So for 5 years the female has not to worry about another pregnancy. So in both these cases, that means in case of injectables and in implants, mode of action is similar to that of oral contraceptive. And how is it similar? That they block ovulation and thicken the cervical mucus to prevent or retard sperm entry, but they are effective for longer period of time. Next and the last method is called as surgical method. So surgical methods are commonly called as sterilization procedures, and they can be done both in the male or the female partner, and this will be done, they will go for sterilization only when the couple does not want to have any more children. So this is a terminal method to prevent any further pregnancy. So how do they act? The surgical methods simply block the transport of gametes and thereby conception. So now first will be vasectomy. So vasectomy is a sterilization procedure in males where you have a small portion of the vas deferens removed, or it can be tied up, that region, through an incision in the scrotum. Or you can, in case of females, what it is referred to as tubectomy, because in females a small part of the fallopian tube will be removed or tied up through a small incision in the abdomen or through the vagina. So these are most effective contraceptive techniques, but their reversibility is very poor. So you can't reverse them back, but sometimes they can be a failure of the contraceptive measures also. So if you get differences between vasectomy and tubectomy, so what will be? First difference, sterilization procedure in males. Next difference, so this will be in case of females. Next difference, here a small portion of vas deferens is removed or tied up. Here a small portion of the fallopian tube is removed or tied up. Third, carried out by an incision in the scrotum, carried out by a small incision in the abdomen or through the vagina. Fourth will be they block is the transport of the sperms. Here they block is the transport of the egg. So that is all for today in this case. So next we will be discussing the other aspects, that is MTP, STDs and fertility issues. That means how a couple who cannot have children, what methods they can adopt to have children. So that's all. Any doubt anywhere, please text me. Thank you.